This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are joined by our friend Stan. He's a fellow Canadian, fellow podcaster, and, well, he's a Muppets fan. I had 10 questions for him about the Muppets, and then him and Carrie discussed. Carrie's in her glory. She's got a Muppet fan to talk about these things with, and I tried to participate. Stay tuned to hear how that went. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us, but it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hello, Carrie. We're back for another fun week on the podcast.
Indeed, we are.
We are. But this week, we have a special treat for the listeners. They don't have to listen to just you and me.
They're like, yay!
I can almost hear them cheering
You
from
can hear
the
them
cars.
clapping, I think.
This week, we're really lucky. We have Stan Solo from the Solo Show and the Grand Circle Tour podcast. That was a tongue teaser. I almost messed that up. But Stan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. A treat? Oh, your version of treat and my version of treat are two different things, obviously.
Well, we actually connected. A friend of both of our podcasts, Marla, had been telling us about you and you about us, and we were very happy to get your invitation to be on the Solo Show. So if you guys haven't listened, you should. And we wanted. You're a Muppet guy. Like,
Yeah. Original longtime Muppet guy.
So on your show, here we are, we're yapping away, and we discover that you like Disneyland, you like Muppets. And of course, you know, my co-host, well, her eyes and ears just light up over this stuff, right?
Number one bucket list item, Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Both
yeah.
of the boathouse.
You guys just hit it off. I felt like I was going to get traded in after that episode.
Well, we haven't talked to you yet about the trade deals that are happening, but, you know, don't set any roots in where you are just yet.
It was so much fun. So, Stan, we're really excited to have you here. You have your Solo Show podcast, and you are a co-host on the Grand Circle Tour podcast as well.
Correct. Yes, you got that right.
And the Grand Circle Tour is all Disney, all fun stuff, all great conversations about all of that.
Yeah, the Grand Circle Tour podcast, it's a celebration of all Disney parks, but mostly the American ones.
That almost sounded like Sam Eagle.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's where we got the line from. I really like these guys.
I even know about the Muppets. I knew about that. Well, so this week we wanted to have you on our podcast to talk about all things Muppets, because quite frankly, when Carrie starts droning on about the Muppets, for the most part, except for the whole Muppets Haunted Mansion, I'm kind of like, yeah, that's fun. Except for the Haunted Mansion one, that was a big deal. But yeah, so she's very excited to have somebody else to talk Muppets with.
I want to hear your Muppet side of the story.
Well, yeah, I was around when the Muppet Show first came out, and it was like greatest thing I've ever saw. Like, are you kidding me? I was so excited about it, and then been a fan ever since.
So how did you fall in love with it? What was the first experience with the Muppets?
Well, I mean, Sesame Street probably would have been the beginning of it, and then I grew up in a small town in northern Manitoba, and we got two channels. We got CBC and CBC French. Were the two channels that we got, and the Muppets were on CBC, and so it was like we didn't have much entertainment. Like, let's face it, you know, watching the snowfall and watching TV. Those were the two things. Watching the Beachcombers. So yeah, so the Muppets came on in prime time. I think it was like 7 p.m. Sunday nights right after The Wonderful World of Color. And oh my gosh, it was just a whole new world for me. And yeah, and Kermit at the time was already, like, I already grew up with Kermit from Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just the sense of humor, the colors, the costumes. I'm not a big puppeteer guy. Like I made myself a couple of Muppets, and I should have made them as posables because I'm not a puppeteer. I have no interest in being a puppeteer. But yeah, no, I just love them. It's hard to explain.
Who would be your favorite from the Sesame Street? Do we call them Muppets on Sesame Street, or are they puppets?
They're Muppets.
They're Muppets? On Sesame Street, they're called Muppets?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They never really gave them a name. I mean, fans call them Muppets.
Okay. So do you have a favorite? Here we go. Schooling Fran on the Muppets. Do you have a favorite Muppet from Sesame Street?
Probably the Count.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the Count. He's because he loves to count things. I don't know.
Carrie, did you have
all
one?
All the Sesame Street Muppets are really good. You got Harry, Count, Ernie, and Bert, Oscar. I'm not a big fan of the Elmo that kind of came after.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And
the newer ones, you're like, they're all right.
Yeah. I think there's a bird now or something that's blue or something. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched much Sesame Street in forever.
The Yip Yip monsters, Yip 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 Yip.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Banamanas are originally from Sesame Street. There you go.
I loved Cookie Monster. Carrie, who was your favorite Sesame Street?
Grover and Kermit.
Grover, yeah.
Kermit too. I love Kermit. I like Grover. Oh, he was so cute.
Yeah. So, and what was the? Remember how Grover was the waiter?
Mm-hmm. And there was a fish in the soup.
Yeah. Yeah. So even the guy that was the customer was a great Muppet. Just a brown blue head.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So Stan, then who would be your favorite Muppet? Like from the regular Muppet.
You know, not a Sesame Street Muppet, but a Muppet.
A Muppet.
Okay, you know at the end of the Muppet movie, when they start off with Kermit and they pan out and you see all the Muppets scattered around Kermit, there's probably like 200 of them. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite right there, that one.
Oh,
the 200.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I really like Sweetums. Every time Sweetums is on the air. And one of my number one goals when I go to Disney World is I'll wear a Muppet shirt and Muppet socks and Muppet hat, and I'll go to the Muppet Theater, like the first person there when it opens, and I'll pretend like it's my first trip. I should what I should try next time is I'll get a first visit button. Put it on.
They'll be thinking, boy, this guy rope dropped to go to Muppets 3D.
Yeah, I go to I rope drop Muppets Vision 3D, which doesn't open at rope drop, by the way. It doesn't open till like 11 or noon or something like that for some reason. But I get there and I'm a big Muppet fan. Is there any way I can get a selfie with Sweetums? I do that every visit.
Oh, you're kidding.
It has yet to work. I never got it yet, but one time I came really close where the cast member was like, well, hang on, we'll go find out and I'll go ask somebody and see if it's possible. And they came and she goes, okay, you know what? Go into the queue and, you're in that waiting room. And when everybody enters the theater, stay in the theater. I'm like, oh man, it's going to work. And anyway, so I went in the queue and I was waiting for, and then she came up, she goes, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. It's not going to work out today. Sweetums is just too busy. But they gave me an autograph card with Sweetums autograph.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I love
it was
that.
Super cool. Yeah, exactly. That made up for it. That's the Disney magic, They let you down, but they also build you up,
Carrie's like, next time I'm going to be rope dropping Muppets 3D.
But anyways, I try it from time to time. And there was one time I was at the park and it was pouring rain, absolutely pouring rain. And there was probably like 6 people at the park. And why I didn't think of doing it then is beyond me. That would have been the time to go because I probably would have got it.
Yeah, because there'd be nobody there.
I would have been the only one probably in the entire theater. I didn't even go to the Muppet Theater. I hung around Toy Story Land for some reason.
Oh.
This was before Galaxy's Edge was built.
Wow.
But, oh well. Next time it's pouring rain, I'll try it too.
There you go. Carrie.
First visit button might help.
It
Yeah.
might. It
Worth
might.
it.
Yeah, Carrie's
Worth a
thinking
try.
about how she can do this on the next trip. What would be your favorite Muppet movie? And of course, while I'm coming up with these questions, I'm like, I wonder how many Muppet movies there are. Like, are there like 3 of them, or like I was like, how many movies are there?
Well,
I know.
Okay, let's take the original Muppet movie out of the equation,
Okay.
because that one's kind of a given that's everybody's favorite.
Should be everybody's favorite.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's not count that one. I mean, if you are counting that, okay, it's that one.
I'm like,
that's not a good question.
It's kind of like people, you know, at Walt Disney World, everyone's going to say Magic Kingdom is their, you know, like it's kind of a given that everybody loves Magic Kingdom, but what do you which one do you really love? Like,
so if you take that out of the equation,
it's the same thing.
Okay.
We're bringing it to relevance to your area. Like you're pulling the Magic Kingdom out of the equation.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Muppet
movie? Who's your favorite Muppet that's not Kermit? Kind of. It should be.
Okay.
So anyways, let's take the 2011 Muppet movie, just the Muppets with Jason Segel. I thought was a new renaissance for the Muppets, and it was going to just open up a new door, and Muppets is going to be everywhere. I just love that movie so well. The fans seemed to like it. It did very well. Nothing. It was. But yeah, I love that. I think that's probably my favorite.
Carrie
doesn't like that one.
I like that movie because I fell in love with Walter. I love Walter, and I thought Walt. You don't know who? Walter
I
is?
know who Walter is.
He's
but
right
is
there.
this? No, is that Carrie's pointing
right
to
there.
Walter in the background of her room? But no. But that movie, is that the one? That's the first introduction to Walter.
Yes.
Oh,
That's where they sing
sorry.
"Am I a Man or a Muppet?" You heard that song?
Or am I a Muppet of a Man?
Or am I a Muppet of a Man?
And
Anyways,
the 80s robot introduced in that movie?
Yeah,
as
80s
well?
robot. And it is a really good movie, but when the stuff first came out and they showed Walter, I was really not too excited about that because I thought, well, isn't that the dumbest thing? They're going to bring this Muppet that looks like a boy, but he's a Muppet and his name's Walter. Like, that's dumb. And then when I went to go see the movie and they showed they showed the clip of him getting electrocuted in the previews, and I was like, that's really, really stupid. And then I went to the movie and I almost died at that part, and I was like, I love Walter. So I love that movie, but my favorite movie is Muppets Take Manhattan. That's my favorite Muppet movie.
Yeah, that one's awesome too. And it's funny, you know what? Everything you mentioned about Walter in the previews is exactly how I felt as well.
That's good to
I was
know.
like, I'm scared.
That exactly. I'm like, I'm going to go see it and I'm going to love it no matter what, because that's what I have to do. But I don't know about this Walter guy. And then just from the very beginning with the way he had him dressed and his watch and that whole the electric fence thing, I probably screamed laughing in the theater. And that's the part that I thought, I can't believe they're doing that. When I saw the previews, but that's the music is good in that. The stories, funny. So, and I
only wish they kept it going. It was a hit. It did so well.
Yeah.
And Jason Segel, he knows the Muppets. He did beautifully with it.
Yeah, it was good.
Is that which one's the movie with? See, now I know there's a movie. What's the one with the song "Moving Right Along"?
That's the original.
Okay, that's the original. Carrie's like, oh my gosh, stop
movie.
talking.
Yeah, it's easy to remember because all you have to remember is if you remember Muppets and it's a movie, it's the Muppet movie.
There you go.
It's easy to remember now.
And I also liked Muppets Most Wanted. I did like that one, like the music in it and just Constantine. I watched that one over and over again, and I thought it was pretty.
Yeah, I didn't see what people didn't like about it. A lot of people were saying oh, that's the end of Muppets. I don't know, I liked it.
As long as we're around, they'll never be the end of Muppets.
Yeah,
because we make sure everybody doesn't forget them.
For sure.
Well, there's got to be a whole new generation that are coming up and falling in love with them. And the Muppets, the Haunted Mansion is relatively new, and people love that.
Yeah,
I think that was really important in getting the Muppets to the younger generations, because I think it really depends on the parents. Either your kid likes puppets or kind of goes that way into finding about them and loving them, or you have a parent that grew up with them that kind of makes you watch them. I don't know about the Muppet fandom beyond that. That's why I tell everybody, and they go, is that green? Who's that green? Is that the one with the green frog? And you're just like, you just put you get a pretend knife, and and while you're in the lunchroom talking to somebody, and you're like, oh.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
It's happened many times, more times than I can count, unfortunately. Yeah. But I've had to enact that tragic scene from Oh.
Oh my gosh!
But watch it when they know they gotta watch, because all of a sudden I'm trying to plan a kiss on them or something. I give them a hug. You know who Miss Piggy is?
Oh, do you think she's more popular than Kermit?
Not a chance.
No, not a chance. Nobody. People don't like Piggy.
Look at right away. They're both like, not a chance.
No. Carrie on with your questions. Have you only asked one?
Two. Favorite Muppet, favorite movie.
I've asked two. People don't like Miss Piggy. Okay.
My friend at work, though, that's his favorite Muppet, Miss Piggy.
Oh,
really?
Seriously? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Stan, the best guest or co-star that the Muppets worked with, who did you love them kind of playing off of? It could be a movie, episode.
Well,
Carrie, why are you laughing?
It's a funny question from you. That's all. Who they bounced off? Who they worked well with?
Who got the chemistry?
The Muppet Show with Mark Hamill on it is just gold. It's solid gold. If you haven't seen that, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, because he plays himself and he also plays Luke Skywalker, but he plays them as two separate characters.
Oh.
And Mark Hamill is very Broadville-like, and the Muppets are very Broadville-like, and it worked so well, very well together. And then C-3PO and R2-D2 and Chewbacca make an appearance. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars fan as well, so yeah, that has to be the pinnacle of Muppet shows or moments.
You need to watch that one, Fran.
I know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I'm assuming it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to find. But Steve Martin is so good with the Muppets as well.
Steve Martin.
Yeah, whether he's doing a dueling banjo with Kermit or he's asking Miss Piggy to smell the cork in the original Muppet movie, or I guess it was Kermit, the cap of the wine. Shall I uncap it for you? Would you like to sniff the cap?
That's the best.
Steve, yeah. So those would probably be my answers for favorite.
Oh,
and then John Denver was in so much stuff with the Muppets.
Yes.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How about you, Carrie?
That's awesome. I don't know if I don't know. I always tell people one of my favorite episodes is the Harry Belafonte one. That's one of my favorite ones. I don't know. There's so many of them, but I always say that one. I love the Elton John episode. Yeah. The Crocodile Rock.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorites are either ones because of the musical guests, because of the music, or I have a couple odd ones that I don't even know who the person was because I was so I was young, or I've watched it now, but I just like it because of a certain skit or whatever. Because sometimes those ones were just the ones that didn't have anybody too popular in them are just as awesome and funny. So
the Alice Cooper one is really good too.
Yeah, there's so many of them. That's the thing. I should have looked at the list. That's a good one, too. There's so many of them. They're all awesome.
See, our listeners are going to go back to Disney Plus now, and they're going to be like, I got to go watch all of them.
Well, there's so many of them, right? And by the time you watch them, through, you kind of start again. It's there's lots of them to kind of remember which one's which and which one you love.
I love that Carrie says it. So you watch them all, and then you start again, like everybody does that.
Well, is that how you're supposed to do it?
You don't know how odd, the fact that they're on Disney Plus? They're on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
And you know what? How many episodes a season? 20-something, maybe. So.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think is there 12 or 13? I think the first season was very short. There wasn't very many episodes in the first season. There was a bit more in the season 4.
Wow. I'm learning something new every day. Okay, so the next question for you both: Pizza Rizzo, yay or nay?
Carrie, you want to go first on this one?
The restaurant in Muppet, what is it called? Muppet Courtyard or Muppet Plaza?
Muppet Courtyard.
Yeah, Muppet Courtyard.
I love Pizza Rizzo for the reason of the ballroom upstairs. That's what I love about Pizza Rizzo. I love that. I don't necessarily want to eat the pizza or the salad or whatever there because I'm just
you
not
don't
a
like
theme.
The salad.
I'm just not a theme park pizza eater.
Yeah.
Just generally, I would never ever go into pizza at Animal Kingdom. Pizza there, that's just not my thing. But I totally nerd out and tell everybody about that room, about the wedding, about Gil and Phil and and Muppets Take Manhattan, and then nobody listens to me or they roll their eyes. I've told you that story 5 times and you act like you don't even know what I'm talking about, Fran. So that's what I love about it. I love that there's a
Fran's first time hearing about the ballroom and
at some point you're like,
yeah. So that's what I like about. That's what I like about it.
Like the what was it? It was like the first dollar earned, and then there's an IOU written, like pizza, by Gonzo or something like that. Or or Fozzie, I think, took the dollar and wrote an IOU. It was the first dollar he Pizza Rizzo's earned. Yeah.
So I like to go upstairs. So I usually go in if we go there, and I go straight upstairs to that room. But otherwise, there's lots of
go upstairs.
So for the benefit of the listeners, are you saying that there was a wedding in the ballroom?
No, the wedding outside the ballroom, it says there's, you know how they get the board that's got all the little plastic letters in it?
Yeah.
And so it says the wedding, the upcoming nuptials, and why, what wedding is happening there. And on Muppets Take Manhattan, when Kermit has amnesia, he works for what's the name? Do you remember the name of the company that he works for when he works for the advertising company? And you know, his colleagues are Gil and Phil and whatever, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And when you look at the board, those are the names that are all over the board. So me as a Muppets Take Manhattan fan assume that's an homage to his frog friends, that when he worked at the advertising company, they're getting married. It's almost like Gil and whatever's children are getting married or whatever, and that's the wedding that's happening upstairs at Pizza Rizzo's. See, now it sounds familiar, right? I told you before.
Yeah.
It looks like an Italian wedding. They took a hall and they converted it because they decorated it to make there's an Italian wedding going on there, basically. Yeah.
Right.
And it's a New York pizzeria, Muppets Take Manhattan. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Gil and Phil and Jill and Bill, I remember that. Yeah. Now I remember that from the movie. Okay. So
the funny thing is about Pizza Rizzo, though, I avoided eating there for years. I never ate there. Because all I ever heard is the pizza's bad, the food is bad, this is not good. So I'm like, well, I don't want to eat somewhere where the food's no good. You know, they sure, it's like be cool, let's check it out and see the Muppet stuff and whatnot. And I never even went inside. I had gone inside. There was an after hours function one time, and that was the only time I was ever in there. And it wasn't Pizza Rizzo food. It was they brought food in and they had food for us that was there. And it was actually in the Italian wedding ballroom was where we ate. And it was an after-hours event. But so that was my one and only time in there. But not my last trip, but the trip before I went there. And that salad was so good. Seriously, I think it might be the
I don't know that I've eaten it. I've only ever just seen pictures of it, probably.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but whatever dressing or whatever it is that they're using, I'm like, this is like the best salad on property. I much prefer it over the Cobb salad down the street at the Hollywood Brown Derby. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I that's going to be my go-to place, I think. For
and when you're in the restaurant, they have caricatures all around the restaurant too. Like if you are a Muppet fan and you want to go and take skip the pizza or get the pizza and salad and stroll around, they have, a la, again, New York City, Sardi's, whatever restaurant type of, not exactly like that, but caricatures around like artwork around the restaurant.
Yeah, there's a lot of inside gags and jokes throughout the whole place, and I love that they have that shadow box where they sell, in quotation marks, like coffee cups and glasses and stuff. They're not really for sale, but I wish they would sell them, like the Pizza Rizzo branded glasses and coffee cups and aprons and stuff.
Unfortunately, I don't think people would be lined up around the block to get them like they do Funko Pops. It'd just be me and you in line, probably. Maybe a couple of other people.
They'd be like, yeah, I'd like to get one of those Pizza Rizzo glasses. They go, really?
That would be awesome.
You want one?
Oh my gosh! Yes,
more Muppet
YouTube
merch.
would be, yeah. So then that kind of goes into my next question, which is, if you could redesign the Muppets courtyard, what would you do?
All righty. How much time you got?
Do it. I'm here to listen.
I honestly, I'd like to go back to the original idea that the Imagineers and Jim Henson had come up with, where Pizza Rizzo's was kind of run by chickens and rats, were kind of in Gonzo and whatnot.
And Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah,
remember they got butter. They get on the skillet, the rats, and they're skating around with the butter on their feet.
So that was kind of the original plan, was that they were going to have animatronics of rats cooking and serving the food, running around the restaurant while you're eating, and on conveyor belts and whatnot.
That would have been awesome.
And they were going to have like it was going to be like a kitchen, and it was supposed to be like fighting happening in the kitchen and stuff. And every once in a while, the doors would swing open, a bunch of chicken feathers would fly out. And that was kind of the original concept for Pizza Rizzo's. I really wish they would have went with something like that, because it would have been phenomenal. And the original plan too also was to have a great movie ride, but everything would be all Muppets being all the characters in the as a part of the Muppet Courtyard, along with the Muppet Theater. So I would be all for that. Like, let's just get rid of Star Tours and make that the whole part possible. Really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Star Tours is really out of place now. I mean, it was fine. It was fine then, but now that we have Galaxy's Edge, it doesn't make sense to be there.
Yeah, and I can't ride Star Tours anyways. I get sick. So
yeah, for sure. Me too.
Same,
they can make it pigs in space.
I almost don't want it to make it Pigs in Space, because then I'm going to want to ride it. Mind you, if I don't ride it if it's Star Wars, I wouldn't ride it if it's Pigs in Space.
Have you ever been on Star Tours?
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
I held it in.
Yep.
I was actually not too bad. I got out and I was okay. I was very nervous getting in, because I got deathly sick on an attraction very similar to that.
Oh.
I had a different, and it ruined my day for like 3 days. I was sick. So, but anyways, I got off, and I asked the cast member before I got on, I said, where's the best place to sit? Because I get motion sickness easy and I don't want to get sick. And the cast member says, well, we don't want you to get sick either. So she says, like, sit at the very front. They put me row 1 closest to the door. So my daughter was with me, and I said, you might have to unbuckle my seatbelt because my hands might be So after we were done, and she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. So we got out, and of course you walk out into this is my first time ever at Disney World. And we got into the Tatooine Traders. We're off the Muppets. Anyways, I was fine, and I hit that gift shop. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all this Star Wars stuff. My first time being in this gift shop. And then everybody else came in behind us and kind of crowded around us, and I just started sweating and and I could not stop sweating, and I had to go out and try to get, it was August, and trying to get some fresh air in August in Orlando. Yeah, that's not happening.
Oh no.
Get some humid air. Anyways, we poured water bottles down my neck, and I was okay in the end, but yeah. But anyways.
I hear you. That one's I used to ride it all the time, had no issues, and then I was on it with someone that got sick, and since then I can't ride it because now I get sick on it because they were sick. Like, it just, it's weird. Weird.
Memory reflexes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we'd need like a Muppets in Space that is not motion.
Yeah.
Maybe if they just didn't move the carts, like move the thingies.
Then it would work.
Then it would work.
Pretty boring. Wouldn't be Muppets in Space for long. Pigs in Space for long.
Carrie, what would you do, Carrie?
I don't know. I would just like to have a Muppet Dark Ride. I think it'd be cool to have some sort of a Muppet Dark Ride. But
what about like a Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway with all the Muppets?
No, I'd want it to be with like animatronics and stuff, because Muppets are like puppets. Muppets. They can't be a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean with like the like an audio animatronic, because they're not going to have puppeteers or Muppeteers or whatever they're called under the ride.
I know. But yeah, I don't know what story it would be or whatever. Like, I don't know. I haven't really thought that one through. But yeah, that great movie ride would have been the best thing ever. Can you imagine? Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I would love to see, like, puppeteers walking around there. like actual puppeteers with maybe not Muppet puppets, but like puppeteers, like real people that do it.
Like have a show. They could have a show too.
Yeah. I think that would be fun for kids especially for kids that are totally into and want to become puppeteers. It'll be fun for them to see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
All right. Yeah. Best Muppet song.
Oh boy.
I don't make easy questions. I figure I was like, I don't know. Is this,
yeah.
Did they have like?
Yeah, I think you might have sung it a little bit of it earlier. Moving right along.
Ah, okay.
That's a really good one.
I just keep picturing Fozzie in the car.
Yeah.
The Studebaker.
The Studebaker.
Studebaker.
Yes.
A bear in its natural habitat.
A Studebaker. Well, this weekend I'm still doing a Muppet movie marathon.
Oh my gosh.
Just because. It's been a while. It's been a couple of months since I've watched a Muppet movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Carrie, what's your favorite Muppet song?
There's so many of them. Rainbow Connection. I don't know. That's everybody's favorite Muppet song. It's sort of like the Kermit thing. You have to say, what's your favorite Muppet song? Not Rainbow Connection.
Not Rainbow Connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so not Rainbow Connection. Is there another one in the bank?
I can't think of it. I didn't think it through. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every
Happiness
song.
Hotel is really good too.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Which one?
Happiness Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Is that from one of the movies or?
Yeah, it's from the movies. It's from the Muppets in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They go to the Happiness Hotel. I think the best line in that is something to do about steal the towels so we don't have to wash them or something like that.
Oh my gosh. If like for everybody listening, if you could see their faces when I'm like, is that from a movie? If I could just screenshot both of them looking at me like, seriously? Okay.
I like Life's a Happy Song or whatever it's called from the new Muppet movie. I'm trying to think. Like I think that every single Muppet movie there's a song that I probably love.
Everything. I love everything.
Well, we should. We're Muppet fans. We're Muppet crazy, the two of us. Should we say everything?
Oh my goodness. Okay,
it's like asking pick a favorite child or a favorite cat.
What would be, do you have a favorite fun fact about the Muppets or about their creation that's like one of your stories that you like to tell people that maybe don't know stuff about the Muppets?
Okay. So I'm trying to think what it is. It's in one of the movies. I'm not sure off the top of my head what it is, but I'll set up the scene. So the scene is John Denver. He's sitting there playing a guitar at a campfire.
Okay.
And then all the Muppets are surrounding him. They're kind of in a circle around watching John Denver play the guitar in front of this campfire. So in order to film that, what they did was they dug a hole in the ground for the puppeteers to go into. And then they put like a piece of wood over top of the ground, the hole, and covered it with dirt. So inside this hole is a propane tank in order because you can't have a fire because it could potentially cause the wood to burn and the collapse on the it was a real fire, but they couldn't have like wood burning because you don't want to be able to control it, right?
Right.
So all the puppeteers are inside this hole with their arms through this wooden piece of wood, with the Muppets now placed on top of their arms, sitting around a propane tank, hoping it doesn't explode.
Oh my gosh!
and Frank Oz looked at Jim Henson and he says, "Could you imagine if that tank?" Jim Henson or Frank Oz was telling the story. He says, "I had my back resting against the tank." And Jim Henson was beside me on the other side of the tank. And he says, "What happens if this tank explodes?" It's like, that's the end of the Muppets.
That's the end of them. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And they're there for like 8 hours, all of them in this hole together while they were filming this one scene of John Denver playing the piano or playing the guitar with the campfire and all the Muppets just looking at him.
They must have really liked each other, eh? Like all the puppeteers must have really liked each other because they're in close quarters together all day.
Well, yeah, and you got your face in somebody's armpit all day long.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that he said. He says that the reason why the Muppets were so good because we were the only ones crazy enough to do this stuff. Because there was nobody else that would do something this dangerous just to get a shot for 3 minutes on film.
True. Very true. Because you don't really think about how they filmed it. Like, I don't think for people that maybe are not like Muppet puppeteer fans or whatever, I never really considered how they filmed these things until I think really at the D23 when they all came out on stage and were doing like this whole show and I could see all of them beneath the puppets. And yeah, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I guess. And they do have to stand all kind of contorted with each other so that their puppets are next to each other. It's, yeah.
I think I've read, like, I've heard where people have said, like, or assumed that with the Muppet Show, like, it was like a variety show, like in real time or live or whatever, right? Like people made that assumption because the way that it was presented was just like watching people do that, like on the Carol Burnett show or something like that, but like not realizing like all that they had to do to like build the puppets and build the sets and sing the music. From what I understand is like I haven't seen a lot of like stuff with the old school puppeteers, but I've watched a few things with like Frank Oz lately, like the Muppets, what was it, the Muppets Talking, like the documentary or whatever they did, and they were saying like how like that was where they had the most fun was with the singing too. Like they went into studios and recorded. Like these are just regular guys that all of a sudden have become puppeteers and they have this love for this and they're singing in the Navy, like they're singing songs and they're recording. And from what I understand, like that's where they said that they had the most fun, like where they were singing and doing all that stuff. But like you just see it on the screen and you think like it just comes together. But imagine like that they had to record vocals to be able to sing all those songs that they're singing on the Muppet Show. Like, forget about the movies and all that stuff. Like, just, like, they put together seasons and seasons of this Muppet Show. Like, and I think I've heard them say, like, people have assumed that it was just, like, you know, it was just, like, real, like, it's real. Like, they just all go to the studio on, like Saturday Night Live and put it together in front of her. Like, it's live or whatever, but
live in front of a studio audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what was the movie, the Christmas movie, that they built all of the stages up on the, like, almost the second floor so that they could be underneath them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was neat. And the first perspective they were talking about for making.
I can't remember where I heard all this.
We went to the Muppet Christmas thing.
No, but did they talk about that before the movie came out? They didn't talk about it before the movie came on.
They talked about it at D23 when we went to the
maybe
Muppets.
That's where. See, I was paying attention, Carrie.
Yeah.
I was.
Were you at D23 for the concert that the Electric Mayhem put out?
No, we didn't do that one. No.
Oh,
no.
That was the highlight. That was my highlight.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that was so good.
We saw them like in the center stage when they had some of the Muppets out in the middle of the afternoon, and then we saw the Christmas.
The Disney Plus stage.
Yeah. Then we saw the Christmas.
That one seemed very intimate. I wish I caught that one.
Oh yeah, we were sitting on the floor right up front.
Yeah, I missed that one.
I don't have many Muppet stories like that. I'm sure I'd love to hear all of your Muppet stories and the stuff you know about the Muppets like that. And I don't think people really want to hear me talk about like Muppet stories. But what I always tell people, my bare minimum, which usually impresses people, is I tell them how Fraggle Rock was filmed in Canada. That's my wow story. Fraggle Rock was in Canada, and the Muppet Show was filmed in the UK. Like, it was nothing to do with being filmed in the United States. Did you watch Fraggles, Fran? Fraggle Rock. Do you remember that? Fraggle Rock down to Fraggle Rock?
I never watched Fraggle Rock.
It was filmed in your neighborhood, for goodness sakes. Like, they all were in Canada making Fraggle Rock. Like, how cool is that?
I don't know what to tell you.
She doesn't know what a Fraggle is. She doesn't know the difference between a Fraggle and a Doozer.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Someone's going to have to explain a Doozer to me later. Oh my gosh.
Next question.
Is Fraggle Rock on Disney Plus too?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. They have they rebooted it, didn't they? I don't watch.
Yeah, it was on Apple TV only.
And I did not watch Muppet Babies rebooted either, because Muppet Babies to me, oh my goodness, like the original Muppet Babies, I can't. I have to keep those. Oh my goodness, I love the original Muppet Babies, like because it was Muppets Take Manhattan. They have like the flashback scene where they go to their babies, and then after that they made them the Muppet Baby cartoon. Muppet Babies were everything to me when I was probably a little bit too old to be that into the Muppet Babies. But that was my favorite. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Stan, were you into the Muppet Babies?
I watched it from time to time, but not quite as much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was. I was like too old and knew it, and
so was Carrie.
Yeah, I might not have been
too old and didn't know it.
I was probably still like under 10. Like I don't think I was a tween when it was Muppet Baby time.
No, I'm quite a bit older than you.
But it's yeah. I don't think you're that much older than me. But it only takes a couple of years. Fran and I have realized over the last couple of years.
Yes, I am older than Carrie, and she tells everyone.
No, but like the differences and stuff, right? Like I liked River Phoenix, you like Sean Cassidy. There's not that many years, but there's.
What you got? Yes, somebody is. Who's your favorite Bond? Then you get to find out how old they are.
Oh yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Is there really more than one? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Next question.
I'm thinking Sean Connery. There's nobody other than him.
True.
And you just aged yourself.
Yes, I did. Thinking there can't be any others. Okay, that was fun fact. Regal Eagle. So Regal Eagle Smokehouse, Epcot. Are you happy with it? They touted it as like a Muppet themed place. But I gotta be honest, if you are not in there looking for Muppet stuff, you could kind of walk by it.
Well, and Disney always said from the very beginning that it was going to be very lightly Muppet themed. They never came out and said it was going to be a Muppet restaurant. And for its location and for where it is, and with it being part of the Epcot and part of World Showcase, I think it fits. I think it's good. But would I like to see a heck of a lot? Well, of course, I would like to see a heck of a lot more Muppet stuff in any restaurant I walk into. I want to see that when I go to McDonald's and they don't have Muppet toys, I get mad.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, I think it works for where it is. I'm happy it's there. And what's great is now, well, I mean, we did have Muppet Mobile Labs at Epcot, which was cool. Of course, Hollywood Studios has the great Muppet Vision 3D, and Magic Kingdom had great moments in history with the Muppets.
Yes,
cool.
And then Animal Kingdom is named after an animal. So I was named after a Muppet. So I think
they just changed the logo.
Muppets are represented in every single park.
Very true.
The next Animal Kingdom anniversary, they just redo it all. Forget the Tree of Life. It's just going to be animal, and in his hair
chains.
It's just going to be it's going to be the year's going to be in his chin, whatever. Yep. That would be
just
awesome.
Make the Tree of Life a big animal like we saw at the end of the Muppet Show when he comes through the building. He crashes through the building. Yeah, just make a Tree of Life that.
Yeah. But you like Regal Eagle, like it wouldn't have killed. Like they could have done like a little, audio animatronic corner a la Sunny Eclipse. Like it wouldn't have killed them to do a little something like that.
Yeah.
It could have been done like with a subtle touch. Sam the Eagle, do. Like they could have done something over there.
Even Sam the Eagle, like with a apron on, flipping burgers or something.
Yeah.
Saying that something is not patriotic or whatever. They could have done something.
Yeah.
And kept it on the down low, down key, down whatever, low key.
Low key. The signs, you walk around, you take pictures of all the signs and stuff. There are things.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to tell people to move out of the way while they're eating so I can get a photo behind them.
I need to get in there.
Would you mind moving out of the way right there? I know you're.
Oh, because the one wall they have all of the awards, right? Like all of the smokehouse, like the the smokehouse awards.
Yeah, of course, people like sitting there for some reason when I want to try to take a picture.
Over by the cache, I think they have like little silhouettes. Though they have like a Gonzo silhouette. I usually go over there and try to take a picture of myself with that. Never have taken a good one.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so here's the question everyone wants to know for Muppet fans. Dum dum. Piggy and Kermit, should they be an item or not? Because they get together, they break up, they fight all the time. Do you prefer Piggy and Kermit together or not?
When I was a kid, I did like the whole romance between frog and pig. Nor did I like it between boy and girl, because I wasn't into girls at the time. I think that was like the yawning part of the Muppet Show when I was like, and as I got older, it hasn't changed much.
Okay.
I like it when they were separated and Kermit got a young girl for a bit, got a young pig for a bit. And Miss Piggy, what? She's separated me?
yeah.
How dare you? And Kermit looks at the camera. What do you want? I like pigs.
Oh my gosh! So you'd be okay if they were separate, like Piggy on her own, Kermit on his own. You're good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, whatever the writers think, I guess. But I'd be fine with that. They don't need to be together.
Well, they're kind
They're
of like
funny together too, though.
They're kind of like Mickey and Minnie, right? Like, are they together? Aren't they together? Like in certain movies, they were apart, and then they come to Kermit, they come back together. Like in every Muppet movie, the Muppets leave each other, and then in order for them to have the movie, they got to get back together again, right? So whether Piggy's in Paris or wherever the heck she is, in all the movies, they're all somewhere, but it's like they always come back together. But are they truly together? It's like, again, like the Minnie and Mickey Mouse, like, the debate of whether or not they're married or not. Like, the history of Piggy and Kermit. It's just very a mystery, true. I think. And they're awesome together. They're awesome. Like, who else is she going to karate chop and whatever if she doesn't have her pig or her frog? I mean, he doesn't have his pig.
Well, no one else will put up with her. I mean, Kermit's got a heart of gold. Like, seriously.
He's got so much patience.
He does.
Yeah.
And it ain't easy being green. And look what he deals with every day.
All his friends are like, they're very difficult. They're not easy to deal with either. Very true. Okay. My last question of the 10. Your favorite 3 pieces of Muppet merch that you have?
3.
Okay. Well, I like my shirts. I make my shirts. So I got my Muppet shirts that I've made.
Yeah, your shirts are very cool.
I got a couple of Muppet shirts that I've made. Number 2 would probably be, if anyone watches the live show, he's always over my shoulder. Is my.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, the Muppet Cratchit, Kermit's nephew, dressed up as Cratchit, made the outfit. The entire Muppet, everything. This Crouch.
You made all that yourself.
I made, yeah. So if you tune into the Grand Circle Tour live show, you'll see him over my shoulder all the time.
Wow.
I can't remember. It's dropping. His nephew, Kermit's nephew, Robin. There we go. Thank you.
Robin.
Jeez Louise. They say that memory is the second thing to go.
I
can't remember what the first one was. So the Robin I made would be probably my second favorite.
Okay.
And my favorite would probably be something my daughter actually made for me. It's not really a Muppet, but it's Fraggle Rock, and she made me a doozer.
That's
that
awesome.
A doozer?
Yeah. So she made me a life-size doozer out of like a clay type thing, completely, and had it mounted with some sand and a few rocks behind it, and made the helmet for it and everything. And she gave it to me for Christmas a couple of years back.
That's fantastic.
And that's probably my favorite Muppet thing. So, sorry, folks, all 3 of them are handmade, and
that's
awesome.
No,
I love it. I think that's fantastic. But I'm just realizing, over your other shoulder, are those Muppet babies?
Those are the Muppet babies.
Yes.
Those are babies. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say they look a little bit... I was going to say they look younger. Oh, my God.
They look younger? Yeah, that's because they're babies.
Oh, my gosh. But how puppets look... anyway. Oh, my gosh. Your shirts are amazing. Your shirts are amazing. And that stuff, we're going to need a picture of that for the show art, because I think I love that stuff. And I can't believe that you made that puppet of Kermit as Cratchit, or Robin as Cratchit.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
the
so
details.
this one, it came out very, very well. Actually, my wife made the scarf. She knitted the scarf, but yeah.
Fantastic.
The funny thing is, the pants are actually made from a shirt that I bought at Value Village, and the jacket is made from a pair of pants I bought at Value Village.
That's fantastic.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he came out really well. And then his shirt I made out of an old work shirt that I used to have and whatnot. I had to buy tiny little buttons for them.
Aww.
It's hard to get buttons. I didn't have buttons that were that small. Or you know what? Actually, his buttons were. You get the tiny buttons on your sleeves on your dress shirts.
Yeah.
So I had some tiny buttons on my dress shirts that I ripped off.
Fantastic. Wow.
That's awesome. I love it.
Carrie, are you going to share your 3 favorite Muppet merchandise things?
I don't know if I could choose. I have a lot. I don't really have I don't know that I have lots of stuff. I have some really old vintage Muppet buttons. I love them.
Yeah, because that brings together your love of buttons and Muppets.
and I've got lots of Muppet pins that I've collected that I love them. I guess probably one of my things would be I have a Grover doll from when I was little, so when I was 5 or whatever, when I first fell in love with Grover, he's I still have him and I love him, so he's probably my most prized Muppet thing because that's where it all started. And my mom gave me a couple of years ago, she gave me a really neat Muppet cuckoo clock. And,
oh wow.
And it was neat. One of those Bradford Exchange things. Mm-hmm. And so I have that hanging up, and I've seen a couple other people have it, and when my mom got it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and I was like, a Muppet cuckoo clock, but it kind of grew on me. I really like having it.
What's the cuckoo? Is it a chicken or is it a...
I'll send you a picture. It's they're all, it's a cuckoo clock, and they're all hanging off of it and around it or whatever, and it's really neat.
That is cool.
It's got everybody on it. So that's kind of a cool, that's a pretty cool thing that I have. But generally I just have lots of bits and pieces, anything that's got Kermit on it. I have a Kermit collection at work. I put all my little Kermits in one spot. And then if I find anything that's vintage, is there anything that you would love to have that's Muppets from the past? For me, what I would love to get my hands on is the original Muppet Fan Club stuff. I'd love to have some of the newsletters, the Muppet Fan Club buttons. Is there something like that you would love, a holy grail of something Muppets?
Well, the holy grail would be the actual Kermit.
Yeah, well,
that was used in one of the movies or something like that.
Really, if you've ever
give me one,
if you've ever seen how much the Muppet Fan Club stuff goes for, it's probably It's silly how much they want for a newsletter and some buttons, but
it's collectibles are crazy sometimes.
But an original Kermit, a screen use Kermit.
Yeah, I guess a bonus thing that I have too. Frank Oz does not do autographs. He refuses to do autographs for fans because he doesn't like people making money and selling for profit. His name, but I actually got a Frank Oz autograph.
Oh,
that when he was doing the DVD for we talked a little bit about the Muppet. Who was it? The Muppet Guys Talking.
Muppet Guys Talking, yeah.
Yeah, so you could join a Patreon group type thing, and for the people that joined that, he actually signed the DVDs, and but he would only put your name to Stan Frank Oz.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't want you selling them to somebody else. So. Yeah, that's even cool. Then, but I wasn't. I'm not going to sell that. Are you kidding me? That's
no. Hold on to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I got that framed, but I can't play it now. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
cool.
So Carrie, how excited were you to have another Muppet person on?
That's awesome.
People are going to be listening to the audio. Time ago. I know, because people are going to be listening to the audio, and Carrie fades in and out, and you're going to hear boom, 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 and that's because Carrie was so animated. Her mic was moving, she was so excited.
There's nobody.
I can't sit still anyways. I can't sit still when I'm talking.
I know.
I'm just sitting around, I can't sit still. What do you expect?
But what was the trick with the cats tonight, Carrie? because we were not interrupted once by a cat.
They must know. The
Funny
serious
how
business
they knew
tonight.
it was serious Muppet business tonight.
She's going to be banging and jumping and singing and banging her everything that we don't need any extra cat noises on top of all of that.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're at the time of the podcast where we share our pixie dust. So something that brought us fun, joy, happiness this week. Stan, did you have pixie dust?
You know what's funny? I said to my wife, they're going to ask me if I have any pixie dust this week. Mm-hmm. My wife goes, well, you don't have any pixie dust. I said, well, I got to come up with something. And when you guys were on the show, I cheated and I said, well, having you two on was my pixie dust.
Yes.
We let that one slide because it wasn't our show. Not happening this time.
Yeah,
nope.
So being here. Yeah, that's my pixie dust. Geez Louise, this is harder than you would think.
You're telling me.
Good comes to my life.
Every
I
week.
broke a dish today that's unbreakable.
I'm telling you, if you think hard enough, there is something good in your week, something that made you happy. And believe me, we've had like mail, we've had a piece of cake, we've had
a new chiropractor.
The new chiropractor, that was a big one.
Could be anything.
Yeah. Seniors Pilates.
You name it.
Seniors Pilates is a pixie dust. Okay.
Hey, it made us happy.
Well, you know what? One of the things that I really enjoy doing is sewing my own shirts. And some of the fabric gets expensive. And I went to Value Village. And I'm like, geez, I sound like I go there all the time. And for people that don't know, Value Village is like a secondhand clothing store, basically, in Canada. So I went to Value Village, and there was these kids' bed sheets there. And there was a Hot Wheels one, and there was a pink flamingo one, and there was, there was like 4 of them, and they were like $3.
You're kidding.
Each. Yeah, and it's actually pretty. They look like they're pretty new, like they're great shape and all that. So I'm going to make shirts out of them.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Those are great finds.
Yeah, so for like $9, I'm probably going to get 3 or 4 shirts. Or I guess it was like, yeah. I think there was 4 of them. Yeah, so yeah, $12. I'll get 4 shirts. So
that's like a start the car when you're at the thrift shop and you find something awesome like that. It's a start the car moment. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was at the thrift store the other day. I popped in and I found a couple of vintage puzzles, and I found the old board game Othello. I don't know if you guys
remember Othello.
And it's funny, like as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, like I remember playing with it. And then I was like, but like, because I would have been younger, I'm like, did I even know? When I got home and I was looking at it, and I was like, did I even know how to play this back then? Like I was reading, like, but I remember it. I remember like probably playing with all the little circles and whatever. But then I was like, did I really play it though? Or was I too little that I just probably like stacked them up and make designs? But I totally remembered it so much that as soon as I saw it, I was like, you're coming home with me. Grabbed a couple of vintage puzzles. And then I've been, did you remember this? I've showed everybody. Did you play with this game? And then, like I said,
and everybody said no, but I did make patterns.
Yeah, like, and I read the instructions, and I'm like, maybe I played it. I don't know, or maybe it was just something that was always there, and like, yeah, I just and it has like a little green velvety.
Yeah, the bat, like the mat that you put them on, right? Yeah.
I'll bring it over, Fran, and we can play.
Oh my gosh.
I read the instructions. It's pretty easy, but I don't know if 5-year-old Carrie would have known that. Maybe like 10-year-old Carrie. Because I was thinking, like, I didn't really have, my sister was older. Like, who would I have played this with? And I think I've come to the conclusion that I probably just made patterns with the white and black circles. But I still, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, like, I remember this. So nostalgic. And it is nostalgia is what it is for you, right? Like,
it is.
That's my memory, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carrie, are you going to tell me that's your pixie dust?
Well, I could. That would be good, really.
It would. It would, because, that was good.
Well, I did have pixie dust prepared. One of my colleagues at work was telling me that her husband was learning, like, Italian with, like, Duolingo. And I had heard about Duolingo. Like, I've heard a lot of it, but I went on the site and have you heard of it? It's like an
No.
online app and a website where you learn to speak languages. And so I've been playing around with it for like the last week. It's a lot of fun. So I've been there learning Italian. You can learn all kinds of languages. So that's probably Pixie Dust, because like there's all it's just well done. Like like long gone are the days where you have to go to like, you know, the local high school to learn a language. You can use Duolingo.
Gosh.
Like it tests you, like you listen to things and you listen to things, you match things, you say things through your mic, and if you say it right, then it's right. You have to spell things out, you have to fill in the blanks, you have to type things in the language. Like it gives you all these different types of exercises so that you're practicing everything, like, you know, like the grammar and the verbs and learning to spell and all the accents and all that stuff. You have to learn all of that. But the speaking and the listening, it's all wrapped up into these little things. And they've got all these cute little characters and they make funny faces and you earn gems or so. I don't really get it yet, all of it, because I just keep going next lesson, next lesson, next lesson.
The more you talk about it, the more complicated this is sounding.
I know, but it's fun. It's lots of fun.
Once you learn how to play the game and I figured out
I don't know. Yeah, I just keep going next.
3 weeks later, you can start learning a language.
Yeah, it's
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, like now that I think of it, they could probably do like puzzles and stuff, but there's none of that in there. But it's like the new way you can learn a language, because I thought,
Yeah,
that's it was
great.
because a friend at work mentioned it to me, so then I was like, I'm gonna check that out. So and it's
for
free.
you.
It's free.
Good for you.
So,
That's fun.
what's your pixie dust?
My pixie dust is that sometimes you got to dig deep when it's been a long week at the unmagical job. My pixie dust is that I had an hour midday where I didn't have a meeting, and I signed off work and I drove up the road. It's like 15-20 minutes from my house to the Scottish Bakers.
Nice.
And I stocked up on square sausages and potato scones and fresh baked rolls, and I'm gonna have them every day for lunch.
Wow,
That's
nice.
my pixie dust.
That's great pixie dust.
That's really
I
good.
managed to get there and get back in the hour, and I even picked up some for my sister while I was out. Yeah, because it's hard to get there. So that was my pixie dust.
Speaking of meetings on the unmagical job, I discovered a trick this week. That should be my pixie dust.
Oh,
How
He's
to make
warming up.
meetings? How to make meetings in the unmagical job more fun?
how's that? Please share.
Well, we have virtual meetings because we're scattered all over. We don't have in-person meetings very much. I call them podcasts now. So it's like, I got a podcast at 2:00 I got to get to.
That's fun.
Yeah. And now everyone I work with is calling them podcasts in less than a week.
Wow. I'll try that. I'll see if I can get them to change it over.
Yeah.
Oh
All our Zoom meetings, we're calling them podcasts now.
Awesome. Stan, thank you so much for joining us this week. This was so much fun, and I know Carrie loved having someone on to talk Muppets. Next time we'll have to talk Disneyland.
Or just more Muppets. You could talk some more Muppet details. That's all. Just tell us some Muppet stories. You have to promise me if there's any really cool Muppet stuff happening, you have to let me know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun. This was great. We have to get together more often, I think.
We do, absolutely. And if you guys want to hear more from Stan, you've got to find Stan everywhere you listen to audio, on the Solo Show as well as the Grand Circle Tour podcast.
You got it.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah,
well, thank you
got
again,
it.
Stan. And we're going to get together more often.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.